Hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. Black Bean Samson here. It's about 11:30 a.m. It is February 13th, 2019, on a Tuesday. How's everyone? So, uh, this came out, as you can see, almost 2 weeks ago now, February 1st, 2019. And it's just been, I've been just trying to get to it. And it's just one of those other incidences that I've been just kind of following up, keeping up with. um, People going to Mexico and then suddenly falling ill, dying, and then or getting into a fight or altercation. Next thing you know, they're going into the hospital and they're not coming out alive. But yet, you can't see any physical damage that would have caused the death, nor there's any way to be able to find out what caused the death because, as you can see with this headline, and if you're just listening, it says, man who died in Mexico flown home without brain, stomach, and heart. Now, I guess you could say, well, at least the kidney and liver is there, so you can do some toxicologist, I think that's how you say the word, type of forensic study or investigation. But in many cases, there's so many organ parts missing that there's just no way to actually find out what caused the death, and yet there's nothing physically that can point to what caused it. And then there's a lot of times when there is something that can be from not all the articles that I find, but just from statements and whatnot. It's it seems like even when there is, say, a gun altercation or a brawl that ends in death and something, and well, even those body parts are coming out missing. I mean, everything from eyes to limbs, pretty much. It's and it has not seemed to slow down really, which is actually interesting. So, but I'm gonna go through this real quick, and then I'm gonna point you out why it's not hasn't slowed down really. I just think the reporting on it hasn't been any more extensive due to the issue between America and Mexico with the border wall and the border crisis. So I want to read on here. The body of a Korean man who died in Mexico was returned to his wife without a brain, stomach, and heart. His widow is now petitioning authorities to return her husband organs. Right here, the body of Korean man who died in Mexico of natural causes has been flown home with missing organs, prompting his widow to speak out. A 35-year-old, known only as Mr. Kim, leaves behind 2 children, a wife who claims there was nothing natural about her husband cause of death. After Mr. Kim's body was flown back to his family in South Korea without brain, stomach, and heart, his wife claimed the father of 2 was involved in a fight before he died. She claims he was involved in an altercation in a karaoke bar in Monterrey, I think that's how maybe you pronounce it, on the day he died. According to Mr. Kim, her unconscious husband was rushed to the hospital the night of January 3rd, where he was later pronounced dead. All this was allegedly caught on CCTV. Her fears of a cover-up were amplified when she demanded a second autopsy be performed on January 21st by a Korean National Forensic Service. A forensic scientist told her there were signs of external injury, bruising on her husband's body. He was also missing his brain, stomach. The NFS could not determine the cause of death due to the missing organs. More than a week later, I received the autopsy result that says no external injuries. I was dumbfounded. Mr. Kim wrote in Changhua Day, maybe that's it, website where she has launched an online petition. She claims Mexican police were not investigating her husband's death because, on paper, dying of natural causes was not suspicious. How is a fight natural causes? And it's caught on CCTV. I mean, this is I've been to Mexico. I won't ever go back. I would like to. But there's just too much crime, and it's like not at all followed up. And then you look at all these like crime reports throughout the world, and you see like how there's more like death caused in certain countries than other. I swear, countries like Mexico, all over the world, there's like this underreporting, a major underreporting. There's so many people you don't even know even exist. So how can you even account for the people you don't even know that exist? I mean, they take all this statistics in America, and they account for all this crazy unreported shit all the time. But yet they never apply these numbers, it seems, to these countries that don't have anywhere close to an infrastructure like America. But yet they're supposed to be accurate numbers. I'm like, no, those are bunk numbers. Those are the minimum numbers to not set fear into people, so people can actually somewhat enjoy themselves when they go to those countries, rather than, well, I mean, they just wouldn't go to those countries if they knew that if they go there, there's like a probability chance that the property that you're staying on for the tourism could just simply just get raided one day while you're there, and then everybody's held for ransom or just shot up or whatever, just found buried. It's messed up. And there's so little talked about it in America. All right, we're going to continue to read on here. Fight for justice. Mr. Kim is now demanding Mexican authorities return her husband organs. My husband was a citizen of Korea. His 3-year-old son and 11-year-old daughter has lost their father, she wrote. Please help me and please help my husband. Since January 22nd, the petition has garnered more than 17,500 signatures. KBS World Radio has confirmed the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in South Korea has also asked Mexican authorities to return the missing organs, which are believed to be at the Cervical Medical Forensic Medical Service. Okay. Which is, what were they even removed for? I mean, that adds in so many questions. Why were such organs ever removed? And then, even if they were removed for some purpose of autopsy, right? Why weren't they properly packaged and then sent back with the body? Again, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, this is how unorganized it seems like Mexico. These are the professionals people. These are the forensic medical service, the professional people. And they seem time and time after again to fall short. Why is this? You don't see this kind of screw-ups on a daily basis in many Western countries. You just don't see it. You see other issues. It's like overburden issues usually, like putting too much population on 5 doctors. That's just crazy. I want to read on here. A national crime. While gangs have long had a hand in everything from politics to gang violence, Mexican cartel are now being accused of organ trafficking as well, which I'm going to talk to you about here in a bit. Gangs, especially the Caballeros or Temporarios, are known as engage in illegal activity other than drug trafficking, including kidnapping and organ proliferating. I have no doubt organs are being removed from bodies, says David Shirk, a professor of political science and director of Transborder Institute at the University of San Diego, who has investigated trafficking. Which is another thing why, another question I've raised. Why hasn't Donald Trump at all talked about the organ trafficking? He talks about the kids trafficking, he talks about the drug trafficking, he talks about the crime. But he doesn't talk straight up about the organ trafficking. There's a reason why kids are being kidnapped. Kids got really young, brand new organs. So if I can just kidnap a kid and just feed this kid for a certain amount of time, I can have a nice heart for an adult. Or I can have a brand new heart for an adult, essentially. Or I can have brand new lungs for someone, that's the thing. Or blood. Or, I mean, it's just you've seen videos. If you have looked up videos on these cartels or these gangs that are coming out of South America or Mexico or in between, they're some of the most horrible things I've ever seen. They're just seeing people's hearts get cut out. I mean, if they're willing to do that to people, there's no doubt in my mind that what they're willing to do to children is just as equally evil. There's just like, there's no, like, all morals go out the windows when it comes with these people. They're literally in like a fallen state of like being animal, pure animal, with the ability to have the strategy of a human being, which is deadly. It's deadly to good humans. All right, move on here. As he suggested, it's happening on and off the streets. For most parts of organ trafficking occur in hospitals where there are corrupt medical practitioners. With more than 21,000 people waiting for organ transplant in Mexico, the market for organ trafficking is a lucrative one. Despite the risk, Mexico tourism is booming and remains the #1 destination for American tourists, last year receiving record numbers of visitors. While it remains a tourist hotspot, government officials still advise travelers to exercise high degree of caution when visiting. Well, of course. Repeated offenders. Mr. Kim plight bears striking similarities to that of a British family who recently made headlines, which I talked about in the recent past, after British barmaid and waitress Amada Gill, 41, died in a hospital in Mexico. Her body was returned to the family without eyes, heart, or brain. She was also reportedly missing all of her vital parts except for her lower bowel. Mexican authorities official ruled her cause of death a visceral congestion. They stole everything inside her. Devastating mother, Eileen Hens, told the Sunday People, if this happened to Amanda, how many other people has it happened to and will again? And that's the thing. How many people out there in the past or in the recent future, or in the recent past, has had the platforms or the knowledge of how to use such platforms like Facebook or Twitter to get their messages out? Or, like, how many people? We're probably talking about thousands and thousands of people. And we're talking probably about tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people over the last decade or two. This is a huge business. I mean, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars in body parts. So I just want to point out this has been going on for. This has been going on. Tough news laws to crack down on illegal organ trade to consider by preliminary inquiry. Tough new laws. What do you mean tough new laws? It's murder. It's stealing parts. I don't know. Sentence the people to death. I don't understand. Like, you find these people and you fucking murder them and you take everything from them and their family. I don't know what repercussion truly, but I don't know. I don't know if it's an I in this case or but this has been going on since 2017. This news site has been, News Corp has been investigating. And they've been investigating a year prior to that. So this is 2 years of investigating that they've been finding out that in the last year about 100 desperate Australians have traveled to overseas to buy organs on the black market, paying up to $250,000. Oh, come on. Stupid mouse. Alright, right here. So, paying up to $250,000 for a kidney transplant. So, that's a lot of money. And Australian money going to Mexico. And guess who's getting that? Cartels. These aren't good old doctors who are finding someone who has donated their kidney. No, this is, and that's 100 desperate just coming from Australia. And that's what they could review. That's what they could find. News Corp. And that's just 100 out of Australia. What about Europe? What about all those different little countries through around Europe? Or Russia, or even America? I can only imagine America since we're right next to it. You're probably talking at least straight up 1,000. This is why you're probably talking about thousands of people who have been essentially murdered throughout South America, throughout the world essentially, or even in America for body parts. It's it's a new business, and this is why people this is why people like Trump and many others, such as myself, talk about border security. We need it. If you like this podcast, please like and subscribe. If you didn't like this podcast, please still like and subscribe. Comment down below for advice, comments. Just want to say hi. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Bye.